Welcome to Let's Talk Red Hill, your source for the latest updates and insights on the Navy's progress at the Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility. This podcast is dedicated to keeping you informed, addressing your concerns, and sharing progress straight from the experts leading the way.
Hey everyone, I'm Hannah Lehman.
And I'm Rear Admiral Mark Williams.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Red Hill. We're excited to bring you the latest updates straight from the source of Navy Closure Task Force and our progress in closing the Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility and ongoing environmental remediation.
Last week we talked a lot about the Navy drinking water system and our sampling program, and you can learn more about that on episode 1.
That's right, and we also started talking about lead last time. Can you tell me a little bit more about why water providers are sampling for lead and why this is, an important topic?
Yeah, so lead was a common plumbing material up until 1986 when it was banned, and all water providers are required under the Lead and Copper Rule, which is part of the Safe Drinking Waters Act of 1974, to test for lead in their water. The sampling frequency under the Safe Drinking Waters Act is generally about 6 months of time, and it's a random sampling of locations. So the Navy's going above and beyond. We test every single one of by the end of EDWM, we'll have tested every single one of our residences, as well as having tested our child development centers and our schools on a monthly basis.
Okay, that's awesome to hear. And I have also kind of heard in the news too that maybe there's some confusion about what the sampling method is for our lead. So why do you think people would be saying we're not using the right method for lead sampling?
So I think they're being provided inaccurate or incorrect information, or at least information that's not in the appropriate context. As the irony is of the right and wrong method is we're doing both first pull as well as after flush sampling methods.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit more about what is first pull and after flush, and kind of what the difference is between those two?
Yeah, so first pull is think about like your water sitting overnight and it's been stagnant, right? That's the first pull, the first drops that would come out of your faucet. And the reason why you do a first pull is that's essentially establishing the maximum amount of lead contamination that would exist in the water system as it sat there and allowed the plumbing material would leach contaminants into the water. Whereas the after flush, that really establishes what is the lead content of the water that's in the distribution system, as that water, once it's flushed through, it hasn't been exposed to the home plumbing, and instead it's a better assessment of what it is that's in the distribution system itself.
Okay, and I've also kind of heard that sometimes water sampling or lead are commonly misunderstood in the news. So I wondered, is the Navy the only drinking water provider that's perhaps being accused of missampling, or there's some misunderstanding on kind of what the confusion is?
Yeah, I think it's just people are misunderstanding of how you sample, why you sample. I think ultimately, look, lead in drinking water is a universal issue that affects every water provider. It's an everywhere problem, and therefore it's an everyone problem.
Okay, so I'm sampling and I come across a sample that comes back with a result of lead. In the case of the Navy, what's next?
So the first thing is when you look at the detection, you got to determine is it an exceedance of the Environmental Protection Agency's action level, which in the case of lead is 15 parts per billion. If it's an exceedance, then there's specific immediate action taken, all done within 24 hours. So we would notify the EPA, we notify the Department of Health, we notify the impacted resident, the school principal, or their facility manager. We then go out and schedule resampling. We'll replace the fixture as required. We'll flush and resample. And in the case of schools, the Hawaii Department of Education is also immediately notified. And again, that's all done within 24 hours of time. If it's below the action level, we continue to monitor it. We may, depending upon what we see, we may go back out and resample it at a later date to see if there is an underlying issue. But that the EPA establishes the action level to which all water providers are held to.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is if I have a need to know, I'll know.
Pretty much, or you can go to the Safe Waters website. So all of our laboratory results, all of the data is available. So every test that we run, every individual resident or anybody in the public wants to go to safewaters.org. You can go and look at the physical address. You can see the date it was tested. You can see all the laboratory results. You can see, hey, there was a detection. The detection was 6 parts per billion. Okay, and it'll show you it's below. Okay, I'm fine. No issue.
Okay, so to wrap it up, what I'm hearing, the drinking water safe?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for your time today, Mark, and for our viewers, thanks for listening in to part 2 of our lead and water sampling episode.
Let's talk more Red Hill next time.
Mahalo for listening to Let's Talk Red Hill. Stay tuned for our next episode, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date. Be sure to download the mobile app by searching NCTF Red Hill in the Apple Store or Google Play.